No holding back. A Columbus police sergeant who just retired for reasons ranging from the protest to the leadership is talking only to WSYX about turning in his badge. 6 on Your Side investigator Tara Morgan sat down with the retired officer to talk about the protests, the riots, and what he thinks about the people in charge now pushing reform.
You're not going to have to dismantle the police department. We're going to leave on our own.
It isn't how he wanted it to end.
You're done.
I'm done. The 4th of July was truly my Independence Day.
Trent Taylor retired from the Columbus Division of Police July 3rd after 26 years, 2 years earlier than he intended.
And when I went to personnel and I took that badge off and I set it on the counter and I slid it across, it was a very humbling moment. But I was waiting in line to turn my stuff in.
Taylor's eyes watered at times when he opened up to me about his career, the men and women with whom he served, and his final weeks in uniform, when protests and riots consumed the city after the death of George Floyd.
You had the peaceful protesters that were there with a good message. They were doing everything that we asked them to do. They were peaceful, they were respectful, their voices were heard, and then it got dark, and then the thugs came out. And all they did was loot, riot, pillage, burn the place down.
During the first 2 weekends, Taylor says he and his partner helped record drivers clear out cars parked illegally on High Street.
They were illegally parked, but at the same time, the rioters that were throwing bottles and rocks at us used those vehicles as coverage.
What was the tipping point?
This past 4 weeks has been difficult to watch. You know, when these riots started, I watched my fellow officers taking rocks and bottles. And I watched this go on for 3 or 4 weeks with little to no recourse.
Taylor, an Air Force veteran who served in the first Gulf War, had many roles within CPD, from frontline supervisor to vice and child abuse detective.
Probably spent 4 years investigating allegations of physical abuse, many of which were children of color. There were times when I went home in tears because I couldn't help them. So for your mayor and your city council to stand up on their podium every day and call us all racists, that's unexcusable.
A news release dated May 29th from Mayor Ginther's office stated racism exists in the Columbus Division of Police, that Chief Quinlan was working to eliminate it from the ranks. J-Lev Benton, a member of Quinlan's new advisory panel, suggested in a statement to us the removal or resignation of Quinlan if the culture of the police and the policies that uphold racism and racist behavior doesn't change.
It's absolutely false. Come out and do a ride along with us. Hang out with us. Get to know us. Come find out what our SWAT guys do, what our helicopter guys do, our canines, our horses do. You'll find out. But they're not interested in that. It doesn't serve their political agenda.
Your thoughts on Ginther?
I don't know the man personally, but I have zero respect for him.
How do you view Chief Quinlan?
I think he's a good man deep down, but he's on probation right now. He's going to do everything the mayor tells him to do.
Taylor says he wasn't the only officer who felt this way.
We had 11 officers retire last week alone.
According to the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund, there have been 32 retirements from January through June 13th. That's compared to 37 about the same time last year. More recent numbers aren't yet available. Taylor says officers are given opportunities for an exit interview, but he didn't see the point with the problem at the top.
Our morale has never been at a lower point than it is right now.
Taylor predicts more officers will cut short their careers over the next 6 months.
You're going to see a lot of retirements. I don't see Chief Quinlan making it 6 months. It'll be somebody else. But it won't matter because they'll do whatever Mayor Ginther wants them to do.
In turning in his badge, Taylor left a lot of money on the table, some of which he would have put toward his daughter's college tuition.
Approximately $400,000 I'm losing.
Taylor was in the drop or deferred retirement option program, in which officers can work past their normal retirement eligibility of 25 years.
It's not worth the strife. It's not worth, it's not worth it. It's not worth the damage it's doing to the home life, your marriage, your relationship with your kids.
He says he has no regrets for leaving not just a career, but what he considers a calling.
I joined the police department because I wanted to help people. I still do. I served with honor and respect.
Tara Morgan, 6 on Your Side.
If you have a story you want our investigators to look into, call 614-255-NEWS or email tips@abc6onyourside.com.